All right, we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back to the Soscast live episode 32, and we got quite the special episode today. We've already been drinking over here. I don't know if you guys are drunk yet, but I just had a sip of beer and I'm already feeling a little tipsy. But this episode right here, let me frame this correctly. It is Cinco de Mayo, and on Cinco de Mayo, whether you're Mexican, not Mexican, American, I don't care. What you do is you drink with your friends. So right now we're having a drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
We got Keith Menon here. We got Amber Joy Lane here. Let me explain to everybody at home what we're going to be doing and what we're talking about today. And who this gentleman is. This nice, young, tan gentleman. Keith Menon on the show. You've seen it in the introduction. So, you know, everyone, a lot of people that watch this channel are entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. Okay? You were once an aspiring entrepreneur. It's safe to say things are going pretty well in your life right now. Right? So this man right here runs hotels. He runs restaurants. He runs bars. He runs venues. He's got other businesses. He's an operator. A lot of times people say, oh, I know a guy in Miami. That guy runs the thing. Those guys that you're talking about that running the thing, those guys want to know this guy. Just to put it a little in context, this guy's running the show in Miami. If you've ever been to Miami, you've probably stayed at one of his hotels, drank in his bars, or hung out at his restaurants, or, you know, maybe you had you didn't sleep that night and you were at one of his other venues. But Keith Menon, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you, bro. And Amber, welcome back. You just got back from Israel.
Yes, I did.
Yeah?
I should look like that, but
yeah,
I don't.
where's your tan? Well, this is a work in progress right here. This tan did not come overnight.
This is work, Amber.
People think he's Greek. But you know, I kind of edified you, but you know, you weren't always the man in Miami. You started off pretty humble beginnings. So let me turn the mic over to you, Keith. Again, this is for our friends at home. This isn't a typical, like, everything you guys need to know about Keith Menon. This is what I want you guys at home to understand is, what gems is this man going to drop today that you say, oh, shit, I'm starting a business. Oh, boom, I'm starting a bar. Oh, boom, I never thought of it that way. Oh, I work with my family. This guy's going to drop some knowledge on you. So with that being said, Keith, welcome to the show. That's number one. But tell us who you are, and, you know, edify yourself, and then we'll get into it.
Sure. Well, what an introduction. Thank you for that. Happy to be here today. What a great time. It is Cinco de Mayo, which is probably one of those fun days I think everybody has, especially in South Florida. It's just, everybody has fun. It's a festive day. So I, like you mentioned, love being an entrepreneur. I love business. I love thinking about business. And I love doing business. So that's kind of what's in my DNA. And I do, like you mentioned, things in the hospitality space, which is really my background of where I came from and what I studied in school at Cornell Hotel School, and what I created when I first got out of school is hospitality. And that's my passion. And in all my businesses, I take the hospitality bandwidth and the ideas, and I turn them into everything else. So, give you an example. One of my favorite business I have is a business called Menon Homes, which I build homes. I build luxury homes in Miami and in Aspen, and I build them as if I was living in them. So I take the hospitality thought of how someone wants a house. Is it, you know, done with accessories and with linens and with spas, and how are the kitchens fitting? And I literally create houses for myself, which in turn is what everybody else really wants. And that's my most fun businesses that I've been doing for a long time, but now it became more of a real business. And we're doing a couple in Miami, a couple in Aspen, and it's a fun thing. And really whatever else I do is all about this hospitality box of how to make people feel good, how to create value, and how to really do good business.
One of the things I'll say about, you know, the hospitality business is you kind of need to be hospitable, right? That kind of goes into the, you know, nomenclature of the hospitality business. Keith is like the most hospitable guy. You know, truth be told, one of my best friends, but he's the guy that everyone, it's, all right, it's New Year's, where we throwing a party at Keith's house. Okay, hey, we're doing a big Shabbat dinner. Where we doing it? Keith's house. It's sort of the center of gravity. And one of the places that I frequent and that I'm a huge fan of, my local bar, Bodega, is basically sponsoring this episode today. They brought a ton of food. All all our producers, our editors, our camera people, everyone. Respect to you guys that are working the show. They're munching on the tacos right now. So anyway, that's the description. Amber, I'm sure you got some stuff to add throughout the show. But
Just
what I
with
want to
munching
start
on the taco, but
What's that?
Just with munching on the taco.
Yeah, she's enjoying the taco. But here's where I want to start, bro. You know, they say that never work with family. Family and business don't mix. That's the last thing you want to do is be in the middle of your family and money and business. But you said, no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to get into the family business. I'm going to work with my family. You got started with your uncle, who's a very well-known commodity down here in Miami, Russell Galbett. You also work with your cousin. He's your business partner, Jared Galbett. Shout out to Jared, JG. If you're ever in Miami, JG, everyone knows him. But explain that. You know, people say don't work with family. Have you ever been hesitant to work with family, or is it something that you've run towards and said, listen, this is what my family business is. Let me embrace it. What are your thoughts?
You know, it's funny. That is the, standard thing people say is don't work with family. It's a disaster. You know, I look at it differently. I say family is supposed to be the tightest thing in your world, right? Like you're born into a family. You have cousins, you have uncles, you have parents, and like that's tight. So like I always kind of looked at the opposite by saying, if I can't trust my family and I don't want to make, then something's off. So I actually love the fact that when I do business, that I make my family money. And when I do a deal, then my Uncle Russell, you mentioned, is my partner in the deal. Mm-hmm. And together, if I call him and I say, I did a deal, I made X amount of dollars, he'd be proud of me. But it's also nice when I go, your wire's coming too. My cousin Jarrett, who's my cousin who actually operates Bodega, my business partner, we have a great relationship because we both want what's best for each other. So I think, although it is a normal thing, people say don't work with family. And by the way, there's a lot of families that don't talk, that fight, that get in lawsuits. But for me, we've kind of looked at it differently. We're like, I trust my family. Like, who else do you trust more than your family? Or you should trust more. So I think my family everyone respects each other. Everybody works hard. Everybody is there to support and to help, whether it's, advice or it's financial or it's, just being there. So I don't know. I kind of flip the script and I think that working with family, at least for me, has been fantastic. Granted, it does get, sometimes there are issues which happen, but for the most part, you have to kind of get through that. So
how do you deal with those issues? Like, for instance, with a business partner, you can be like, hey, man, it's very straightforward. Listen, I noticed that you didn't da-da-da-da-da. And you hold them accountable. With family, how do you address, hey, it's great when you make $1 million and you chop it up and you split it with family. And that's great. Hey, that's great. Cheers. How do you address like, hey, yeah, this deal actually went south and it didn't work out? How do you address that with family?
So the good news is, honestly, I don't do deals that go south. So that phone call I don't have to have. But your point of it is somewhat harder. Like my partner Jarrett, if he was just a normal partner, I could, I have to be more sensitive about how I talk to him or how our relationship is and certain things. Like, I can't call him and say, your numbers were off, you were wrong, you made a mistake, you're $400 over budget on the next bodega, like you're an idiot. You can't do that. It's my cousin. So the answer is like, hey, buddy, you kind of overshot your budget. You're over $400,000. It's okay. We have your back. We'll all put our money in. But like the next time, why don't you look at X, Y, and Z and think about it? He'll go to me, you're right. Sorry it was over. And the next time we'll fix it. So, it is a little more sensitive, but I think there's also a commonality of love there, right? Like I'm not telling him he's over budget because I'm mad at him. It's just like, buddy, for the next time, don't do it again. Yeah. So I think that's where it makes it better, where if we were just business partners, I may say to him like, well, that's your fault, not mine. You put the money in. I'm not putting the money in. Like you messed up, right? So I think, although it may seem harder, I think it actually makes you curate your thoughts and handle it a little better. So again, I have friends that their families don't talk, that, brothers don't speak and parents don't speak and siblings don't speak and they have lawsuits and they have crazy things that go on. But, my family thankfully has been good. And I think, we have a commonality of love and being successful and working hard. And that's the key. I think if you work with family and some people don't want to work, some people are lazy, some people don't have money to put in, some people are complainers, like that's when it becomes weird. But our common denominator is just work, make money, be successful.
There's strong work ethic.
That's our thing.
Ironically, so Amber is a comedian. She is a performer. She's a dancer. She's a voice
Only
artist.
child.
But your father is in the business.
Yes.
So
And his father is
and
in
his
the
father.
business.
So you're hearing Keith, a very successful guy who comes from a very successful lineage in the family. What do you learn? Like, how are you processing this? Because you're kind of following in your family's footsteps, Amber.
Yeah, but I was actually thinking you were going to say the opposite, that when you're talking to family, you can be realer than you can be with a business partner because you don't have to sugarcoat it. You can just be like more direct, like talking like you are, just talking to family instead of having to tread lightly and step on eggshells. You could be like, hey, the fuck are you doing? Get your shit together. Come on. See you at Shabbat. You know?
You can, and what you're saying makes sense, but you know, people still have emotions, and people still have to be able to be balanced. And I'm very good at balancing that. So, like, when I do want to say to somebody, you know, how did you over budget $400,000? You out of your mind? You're a moron. How much paid for X, Y, and Z? I go, you know what? I'll put in my share. If I can teach that lesson for the next one, it's okay. But what you don't want to do is not make that point, overspend on a project, and then you make the mistake 5 times over. So for me, I look at it as like, okay, if it costs me $200,000 to prove my point, so everyone is on full alert for the next 5 bodegas we do, it's no problem. You know, so that's kind of how I look at it. But
how much money to prove a point in that kind of family?
It's not cheap.
Wow.
Not cheap.
It's not cheap at all. So I want to kind of stay here on the family thing. We talked about your Uncle Russell. These are one of those things where if anything's Googleable, I don't mind asking it, right? So if you Google Russell Galbert, you can see that the guy is worth something with a B next to it, something in the billionaire category. Not many uncles, you know. I have an uncle who's doing well off. It ain't like, you know, who sends me $100 on my birthday. Thanks, Uncle Vic. But, you know, it's not a billionaire. But what I want to know is the lessons you've learned from your billionaire uncle, meaning you started working from him probably when you were 16, 15. You were
16.
sweeping floors, doing whatever. Now you're 41. You're married, family man, kids. I want to kind of hear the advice he gave to you when you were 16, maybe the advice when he gave when you were 26, and now that you're an adult with a family. Like, what kind of advice and what kind of tutelage has this billionaire great uncle of yours given you?
Great word.
So his thing, which hasn't changed in 20 years and won't change when he's 20 years old now, is he has a statement which he says, don't lose money. And I'm telling you, that is how he thinks, and that's how he's always preached. So although it sounds pretty simple, who wants to lose money? But since I was 16 and I did construction for him in a nursing home, when I was 17 and worked from inside a hotel for my first time, when I was 21 and moved to Atlanta to sell condos for him, I always knew the one thing he said to me was, don't lose money. So whether I was, doing construction or I was checking someone at the front desk or selling a unit, I always thought about what he meant was just don't lose money. And that's how he still thinks today. So, he started out as a self-made guy, very humble beginnings, Miami Beach. He was a 4th child of a very not wealthy, working hard Jewish family. And, so he actually grew up being the youngest with no money, how to make money. So he's done it on his own, and he has the same mindset as he did then and now. I'll tell you, when I was 22 years old, him and I went to a meeting at a restaurant, and it was in Bal Harbour Mall, where you pull in, you take a ticket, you park the car. If you eat, you get a stamp, it's free parking. Anyway, I'm 22 years old. I've got maybe 3 suits. They're all great. I look at them, I clean them, I make sure they're good for the week. And I remember we had a lunch meeting, we get inside his car, and he forgot to get the stamp on the ticket, which is fine. It's pouring rain. This is in June in Miami, and it is literally a hurricane coming down. And he looks at me and he says to me, oh my God, we didn't do the stamp. And it's like $1.50 to get out. I go, yeah, I think we both forgot, but like, it's fine. It's $1.50. He's like, are you out of your mind? Go get the stamp. So literally that suit that I look at and care about ran in the rain, got the stamped, because in his mind is, why would I spend $1.50 if literally it's free? Yeah. So there's certain things that we've done through our lives. And, him and I have worked together for now 20, it's a number of kids, so call it 23, 24 years. and all the business I do we're partners in, and he's going to trust me along the way, and we have a fabulous relationship. But those are things that he always morphed. And by the way, the same guy today, if I was with him right now in that same spot, would do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I love that, because you would think, dude, you're a freaking billionaire. What the hell do you care? But it's the mindset that you have to have that gets you to become, it's the valuing money. Yeah. It's valuing the work ethic. It's the, we don't lose money. Yes, I get that it's raining, but go get the free valet ticket stamped. And it's deeper than just getting the ticket stamped. There's the principle of, no, this is, I just spent X amount of money at this meal. I'm getting my free parking.
Yeah. Now, the truth is, he'll look at me today and I'm not going to get the stamp. I'm fine with it. Like, I'll just give the guy $10 and I'm out. But he'll say to me, are you out of your mind? So, I guess he's a dynamic, amazing person. He's the smartest person I think I know in business and just in life. And just watching him really created kind of the person I grew to be. Like you mentioned, when I was 16 to now 41.
Right.
Well, like I've been watching him since I'm 16 years old.
Right.
So we think the same. We do things the same. That's why if we do business, literally if I say to him, I'm doing a deal tomorrow, he won't even ask me to see a number. He'll just go, I get it. If you're in, I'm in.
There's a trust factor.
And he knows it'll work. So I don't have to do a presentation or sell it to him. It's like, look, we're doing a deal. We each put in X. I got this. And he'll go to me, go ahead, Keith, do your thing. So we have a beautiful trust. And to your point, being family is not always easy. But, you're also as good as your last deal. And like I said before, when I do business, I don't stop till I'm successful. So it's not like I'm a nephew who's lost 10 deals and made one. He knows I'm doing something.
There's a track record.
I win.
There. So shout out to Russell Galbit. By the way, what's his Instagram?
I think it's actually Russell Galbit.
Does he have an Instagram?
He does.
Wow. How many followers do you think he has?
I don't know. He should have a lot more.
Your best guess. How many followers do you think he has?
I mean, he's kind of a private guy. He's not really on social media that much. I would say, let's give him 1,000.
1,000. So here's this billionaire with 1,000 followers, which is a perfect segue into my next question. We're talking about your uncle, billionaire, right? No social media presence. Okay. By the way, just to give him a little stature so they understand, he made his money as a developer in Crescent Heights, which is the biggest condo conversion company, I think, in the world. He is the, chairman of the board of Norwegian Cruise Lines. If you're ever in Miami and you want to take your kid to the local JCC, it's the Russell frickin' Galbit JCC. Meanwhile, he's got no social media presence. You wouldn't know any of this, which leads me to my next question. It's not like you're massive on Instagram. I mean, you're doing okay. You maybe got like 5,000, right?
A little more.
Maybe
a little
6,000.
more.
I don't know.
Maybe it's 7. I don't know.
All right.
Check.
You're under 10,000. So in this world that we're living in right now that is so based on social media, and social media, you got clout, bro. I got 1 million followers. But behind the scenes, what are they doing? How do you grapple with not being a big person out there on social media, but your pocketbooks are fat, but not necessarily your social media clout? Do you ever say like, dude, who's this clown with 1 million followers? Like, how do you balance actually having money and being successful, being a multimillionaire, and just not having a major social media presence?
So I love social media. I actually think it is the best marketing thing that came out, and I think it's made many people very successful and very wealthy. There are friends of mine who hyper focus on it, and their whole business is built by social media, and they're making a lot of money being very, very successful. I will say they probably dedicate 80% of their bandwidth to that. So to do social media well, you have to really focus on it. And that's why companies like Bodega, other companies, we have a team that just does social media. So like Bodega's followers and Bodega's social media is incredible, but it's because we literally have, I don't know, probably 4 people. That's all they do is just social media and content and new content and building up. So I love it personally, but I really show off, more my family and my friends and like my clean life in a way. I should spend more time doing it because I do some pretty incredible stuff, and my days are filled very, very much that if I actually film just what I do, I think people would actually enjoy seeing it. So the answer is I should do better at it. I think on social media, there's always that fine line, right? Like I personally don't like, posting, certain things that are just a little out there, right? Like, remember, there's still a war going on in this world. There's still people who can't do things, right? Like, there's still inflation. Like, I think there's that fine line between, social media using it as like a flex just to show off. And there's also social media that is, good content. So I look at it as if it's your business, do what works. I personally love show my friends what I'm doing and my family, my kids. I don't like the, airplane post. I don't like that stuff. Like, you'll never see me.
It makes you feel weird.
Yeah, like I've never posted.
He's always
myself.
asking me, Adam, should I post? I'm like, yeah, post it out. He's like, I'm telling you, he's constantly asking me, should I post it? Should I not post this? I was like, hell yeah, bro, you're in a private jet that you own. Like, go for it. He's like, yeah, I feel weird
it's not
about
my thing.
it.
I because the truth is,
respect
like,
that much more.
Look, like the other day I was flying and my daughter Lucy was beautiful. She was sitting in my lap and somebody took a picture of us. And it was the most beautiful picture of us. And I said, I'm gonna post this. And but you know what? I don't want it to look. So to me, like, I personally don't do the jets and the boats and like all that, crazy stuff. It's not for me, but it does work for a lot of people. Some people see that and they're like, wow. So the answer is, I love social media. I think people who use it as a tool, keep going, it works. I probably should focus a bit more on it, make myself a little more out there. But to be honest, I'm also busy all day where my brain isn't on that.
What do you need to do that for? People
You're actually right.
You have who you are, it does not relate enough to your brand for that. It is detrimental if you don't.
And at Adam's point, my 5,000 or 6,000 followers, when I actually do post me doing something with my kids, I will get 3,000 comments.
Because they're
likes.
people who like you and know you personally because you've kept a small group on your social media.
That's true.
People who have money don't need clout.
Right. And that's what
there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
And it's funny, back to the airplane thing. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm my third airplane, and I've never posted myself an airplane one time. I've never posted like new airplane. Like, that's not my thing. Some people do it.
Because you're not the Tinder swindler.
That's true.
People who post pictures of their planes, I don't believe they own
if
the plane.
I had my Instagram account working right now, I would 100% take a picture of me and you on your airplane.
And by the way,
flexing.
to your point, I would say.
But Instagram still disabled my account. So Instagram.
But
if
here's
you ever
what's
hear
funny
this,
about it. And I always
get
say,
it going.
Guys that post their airplanes a lot, always look at the seats. They're always different.
Right, because it's not their airplane.
Correct.
They're renting
So
it.
what's the technique to understanding if it's someone's plane or not?
If it's the same seat.
Same
Like
seat.
when I fly, it's the same seat.
That's your seat.
No, I mean, it could be any seat, but they all look, yes, but they all
the
look
seats
the
look
same.
the same.
Right,
It's the same upholstery.
Anytime if it's in a different plane,
it's a different seat. So when you see
we
this
just caught
guy,
you guys.
So when you see this guy's like, taking off on the airplane, look at the seat. Is it beige? Is it white? Then look at the next one they post. So the truth is, but people, that's just what we live in today. But for me, to answer your question, I use social media for my good friends and family to see what I'm doing and to,
How
just
God intended.
connect.
As God intended.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things you do discuss, you post on your social media is your two beautiful daughters, Ella and Lucy. Eleanor and Lucille. Great. Shout out to them. Shout out to Eva, the family. Love them. No kids yet. I got some kittens. But here's my question for you, bro. A lot of our friends, we've known each other 20-something plus years, right? A lot of our friends started having kids young while they hadn't made money yet, right? Maybe in their late 20s, early 30s. You waited to basically, you were late 30, 39. You were very comfortable when you started having kids, is my point. You've got maids. You've got help. I mean, this isn't like groundbreaking news. A successful guy has people helping. He's got twin girls. I constantly tell guys, like, take your time, y'all. Take your time. The people say life is short. Life, if you play it right, can be pretty long. And I always advise, take your time to get married. Take your time to have kids. And my game plan is that when I do have kids, I'm gonna have money. I'm gonna be okay. I'm not gonna be struggling. So what I want to kind of unpack here, bro, is how much easier is it to be a parent that has money, and then put yourself maybe in a friend's shoes or in someone else's shoes, someone that maybe works for you, and as a parent that doesn't have money. I want to kind of get in on that dichotomy. Like, how much easier is it to be a parent with money versus without? What are your thoughts?
So you're asking someone that is a firm believer that having money doing anything is always easier. Money makes everything easier.
Correct.
So knowing that, having money and having kids makes it a lot easier. It just takes the temperature down a little bit. So, by the way, look, when I first had my two twins, we had a baby nurse and she couldn't handle it and she quit. For those 2 weeks, from 6 to midnight, or from 6 to, we had two nurses. The nurse quit in daytime at 6. So it was 6 hours. We had no nanny with two crying babies. As you're tired in the day, and I will tell you, we did it. And it was one of the best times I've done it because it actually was, it was a good bond. It was tiring. But for the most part, having money makes it a lot easier. Or having the means to still have your life set up makes it a tremendous easier. So the answer is I love kids. Like I would have kids if I had no money, if I have money. But to me, anything you do in life, if you have money, it makes it a lot easier.
So it's not even the parent thing. It's anything with money is going to make your life easier.
But the kid thing is a lot easier because the problem is when you have a husband, a wife, or a girl and a guy, you know, it's a lot, right? Like the guy works, the girl may work, the kids are crying. Like I have everything set up pretty good where like I think it's easy for me to have kids. Like I don't ever go, oh my God, this is a lot, I need vacation. In fact, I never do that because I have it set up to where like I enjoy my kids. I love my kids. I spend every weekend with them, but it's never stressful because like, it's funny. I was at the pool on Saturday. A friend of mine goes, don't you have a nanny? I go, yeah, she's upstairs. He's like, why did she? I go, I don't bring my nanny to the pool or a restaurant. Like I take my kids, but she's still up there. So I get back after, she can give me a bath. I can do my emails. I can get back. We can have dinner. Like I always have it set up right, but I always don't think you need to be like over nanny and overstaffed. Like, you know, like an entourage, like that's a lot, right? Like just set it up right. But money does help it out.
You got to follow up for him on these kids?
No, it just sounds like the kind of parenting I would want to do is to be there for the fun stuff.
You want to be a nanny?
Which is what I do.
I said, be there for the fun stuff. I mean, imagine the kids feel emotional stress and it impacts them. So if you can eliminate the stresses in your life, you can be a better parent because you're giving them a more fuller version of you when you're not like figuring out how you're going to pay for something because you feel that as a kid. You know your parents' economic
Kids
status.
feel it all.
We feel everything. We're very empathetic. So to feel when dad's happy, dad just made a good deal and you get to just be there for the great stuff, I think that would be I'm never having kids.
So this is why we love Amber. This is why we love having Amber on. She gives that maternal feminine energy that us guys maybe just don't get. But you said when you have money and you can be there for the good stuff, you can just be the how did you put that again? You said I can be the real me.
Yeah, I mean, it's you without the it's not you in stress, you in presence.
Yeah.
It's just you in your natural state of joy and getting to benefit from this creation that you've made and not have to. I think what's nice about it is you get to still be a whole person because you're living your full life. That's the part that makes me a little bit about kids is because then it becomes every thought, every day, having to figure out how to take care of them. If I can just still be me and then have this addition to my life, that would be perfect.
Yes. So the answer to your point is work hard, quickly, and have kids because kids to me are the most beautiful thing in the entire world. And as much as we have time in the world, we kind of really don't. If you think about it, I'm 41. So I've got 20 more great summers till my 60s. Think about it. Summer's already here. It's already almost gone.
I love how you put that 20 more summers.
I look at it as like
20 more summers.
I have 20 more summers.
Aspen,
till I'm 60.
I have 20 more summers till I'm 60. So I think there's time, but I would also say whatever you do in your profession, focus on making money and have kids. Like there's never the right time. There's never enough money. It's never really perfect. You're not gonna go, okay, I'm good now. I have how much money in the bank. I have a great wife. Like it doesn't work like that. Like find a great partner, focus on making money, have kids and figure it out. But I will say, to Amber's point, money does make it a lot easier.
Respect. My last question, this is the advice from Keith segment right here, and then we'll get on to kind of more of the hotel, being a hotelier. Is that how you say the word hotelier? Hotelier. He's a hotelier. This is a business question, but it's amped up. You know, a typical question would be, tell us your techniques to business. What's it like doing business? This is a very specific question. I want to know what it's like doing business with the fucking guys, with the heavy hitters. I'm not talking like a guy that's, he's pretty good. I'm talking the guy who owns the guy who owns the guy and that he owns the company. And that I'm talking doing business with the big dogs. That's what I kind of want to know about because you deal with some major investors, major market players, like some major heavy hitters. So not necessarily advice in business, but advice dealing with the biggest business guys out there. What's the best advice you got?
Which is funny because my world is just that. Like I deal with ultra successful, ultra high energy guys, extremely wealthy. And I think my secret that I can be with them is that I know how these guys live because I live somewhat like them. I know what they want to hear. And you have to play it right? Like none of these, as you call them, big dogs want to hear about small things. So like, the key is keep it all high level, fly at 40,000 feet. Don't focus on a small thing, focus on big things and become friends. Like I will say, of the 10 guys I know that are these ultra wealthy big guys, like I'm friends with them all. So like I was actually on the phone driving here with a friend of mine now. Guy's 40, probably 52 years old. He still thinks a little younger than he is. Proper billionaire guy. And literally we were discussing this summer what day we're gonna go mountain biking or what day we're gonna ride motorcycles and what times work for me. And it's like, I told him, like, buddy, whatever works for you. Like, you're the guy running the $1 billion company. I'll make myself work. So you have to be easy with these guys. You can't be a tough person or else it becomes stressful. Like, my answer, he goes, do you want to do 3 to 7 or 5 to 7? I'm like, whatever you want. He goes, when do you have to work? I go, I'm fine. So I handle it where I treat them all the same. They're all my friends. I talk to that guy who's worth $1 billion the same way I talk to anybody else. And that's the key, is not getting nervous, not being weird, not, focusing on small shit. Like, and also my world, back to hospitality, I take care of my friends. So like, if I'm doing something, it's handled from the minute from here to here. Like, there's no, I'll meet you there. No, the cars have been waiting for you. Or we're going here. Oh, that's already booked. Like, back to my hospitality mindset, whatever I do, I always think like that. So whenever I'm with these kind of guys, it's that same DNA.
Respect, bro.
You're giving them an experience, a service from beginning to end.
In anything I do, especially with these guys he's describing, yes, you have to. Because if not, it just breaks it up.
You can't treat it like a normal deal. You gotta, like you said, you're flying at 40,000 feet. You're not playing the small things with these guys. I want to shift gears here. I want to talk about what it's like running a hotel. So, your first hotel, bro. You were 24 years old. We were both 24. I get a call from Keith saying, Adam, what are you doing this weekend? I don't know, whatever. Just, probably doing stand-up comedy at the time, whatever. He goes, need your help. I'm opening up my hotel like a month early to take advantage of Miami Music Week, Ultra at the time. And he opened up his first hotel.
So what year is this?
This is 2005. 2005. And he opened up his first hotel. It was a blast. We can talk about that for literally hours on end. We're going to skip right past that. It was an amazing time.
The good stuff.
But
we're skipping over.
From that, this was an opportunity, a small little boutique hotel that led to a bigger opportunity. So for the people out there, they're like, what do you mean this guy ran a hotel? And now it's hotels. What's it actually like owning and running a hotel? Most people's dream to own the house, run your house. You're running a hotel. And the first one was 30 rooms, and then the next one was like 300 rooms, and now you've had X amount of hotels since. So what's it like being a hotel owner and operator?
I think, again, I look at every business as zeros. So a 30-room hotel and a 300-room hotel, it's one more zero. It's just times 10. So the answer is they're opposite animals, right? One is a simple project, one's a big project. But, I think it's fun, right? Like it's the same practice. Like a 30-room hotel needs 10 housekeepers, 300-room hotels needs 20. Like, you just have to gauge the numbers. But it's a fun business. It's a tough business because you're open 365 days a year, 7 days a week. Like, you don't close. There's no, sorry, hotel closes. Like, you're just open. So it's a challenging business. You're dealing with labor, people, personalities, guests, staff. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a very tough business. But it's a business that if you love, you do it. If you don't love that business, you don't do it. It's extremely challenging.
What advice do you have when someone's booking a hotel? Right? All right, I'm looking to go travel. I'm looking to book a hotel. Give me a little secret that someone should know when they're looking online, looking for a hotel. You have any tips of the trade of best day to book, best time to book? You should book a week out, 2 weeks out, 3 months, day of. You got any secret sauce you want to give to the people?
I don't. Honestly, I don't.
Like, you're playing it close to the vest?
No, my secret sauce is if you book a hotel, become friends with the staff. So, like, if you book, I don't know, call the Ritz-Carlton in Bahamas tomorrow. It's not bad to call the front desk, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm checking in on this day to this day. Do you see my reservation? Sure. Oh, great. What room do I have? Can put me in for an upgrade. Like, become friends with the staff because they're the buttons that can change anything.
I actually totally agree with you. It's not so much tips to booking the hotel. It's that once it's been booked, that's when you can kind of pick up the phone. Hey, I'm coming in. It's an anniversary.
That's my trick.
Yeah.
Correct.
Got it.
Has the experience of staying in other hotels been kind of ruined for you because you know all of the inner workings and you have a higher expectations? Like after being a server, every time I go to a restaurant, I'm a little bit like, I know you just didn't put my food in, or I know you could be doing better, but I also have more empathy as well when things are hectic. So just, do you find that like when you go to places now, you're like looking through your hotelier eyes?
It's a fun word to say,
isn't it? This is a fun word to say.
So I love hotels. In fact, I think I've lived in hotels for probably the last 10 years, in the last 20 years of graduating college. So I live in hotels. I love hotels. I love and I strive for service. So that's my thing, is like, I always book good places to stay, but I love service. And I love great service. I love when staff is happy. So like, to me, like, that's my thing. Like if I go somewhere and service is off, it's like, that's the only activity. I'm like, why is it off? Like, get my own server, stay here, don't leave, keep me and my friends happy or my family happy. So I think service is the one thing that I'm very adamant about, because to your point on being a server in a good mood or a server in a bad mood,
changes
two different
your whole
experiences.
Experience.
And to me, it's like, if your vibe's off, why are you even around me? Just give me this person. So
why are you even around me?
Yeah, like I look at it like that. And by the way, like there's been times I've been out to a restaurant place and someone's attitude's off, and I'll tell the bartender, like, your attitude's kind of off. I don't know what's wrong with you, buddy, but like, just let me deal with that guy today. In a nice way.
Yeah.
Because if not, it ruins your whole vibe. Your whole experience is off. So I think service is the one thing I always try to get and demand the best of.
A fun fact, Israel doesn't have any Michelin stars because the service is always not good enough. They have incredible restaurants all over Israel. Incredible food. But they don't have any Michelin stars because you will have to ask for water 5 times before you get it.
Yeah. Well,
not to throw any shade, but they also don't get paid, like, and the tipping is much lower, so they're not working for it. But just how important service is, that doesn't matter how good the food is.
They're like, yeah,
whoever serves it to you.
Can I get a little water? You go get the water yourself. So what do you mean? I gotta go. Can you check out my food? You go check it. They've got a unique thing. So you've been part of, obviously, being in the hotel business. You're in the real estate business. You've been doing real estate, buying real estate since you were out of college, I assume, give or take. Obviously, Miami's blown up in the last couple of years. You've done quite well for yourself. What I want to understand is, it's a 2-part question, is where do you think Miami real estate market is now? Let's just start with that, and then we'll get into the backstory. What's your take on the Miami real estate market now? For the last 2 years, everyone's been coming from New York, New Jersey, metro areas up there, California. Everyone's moving here. Real estate prices have inflated. If you could sell, you sell. If you could buy, you buy, What's your take of what's going on now, and what should people understand about South Florida, Miami real estate moving forward?
So I will say, whoever says they predicted this boom craziness down here is out of their mind. Nobody ever saw this coming. No one ever said this is going to happen. In fact, I predicted the opposite. During COVID, I sold my last house, and I was nervous about the market. I was like, wait a minute, how did this just happen? So I actually predicted the opposite. A lot of smart people did as well. And the truth is this. Here's what actually happened. Because people ask me every single day. I get asked 10 times a day, what's going on? Miami, to me, being a local, I was too enveloped in it, right? Like, I knew every inch, every piece of dirt that exists. Miami just got repriced. What happened was Miami was very undervalued all these years. If you think about it, look at London pricing, look at New York pricing. The fact that you were able to buy a piece of property on Venetian Islands on the water with a house for $4 million is outrageous. That property is now worth $12 million. So I think what happened was this. Miami was always undervalued. We were all local buyers. Most of the buyers were locals, right? I would sell a house and buy a house. You graduate college, you buy a house. It wasn't this influx of New York, California, European all coming here and buying.
South Americans, the whole thing.
Like, listen, when we sold condos, when we sold them Mondrian, we had Brazilian buyers, but they wanted to buy to get, currency out of Brazil and own real estate. We had Italian buyers, and they were more investors, right? They were buying property to make a return. This just happened where now you have all these people just relocated here full time. That didn't happen before. So New Yorkers, California, San Francisco, people said, wait a minute, we're going to live in Miami now because of COVID. So when they came here, They go, wait a minute, that house is $20 million. Well, in New York, you get a 2-bedroom apartment. In San Francisco, you can't even see the bridge. I can have a 10,000-foot house on the best street in Miami with a pool, a dock for $20 million. To me, it was outrageous. I would pay $8 million for that house, $9 million for that house. That guy paid 20. Then what happened was the neighbor went for sale. Well, that paid 20. So this whole thing just kind of went in a good way. Property value went up. I think we got repriced in a good way. I think we have a great group of people now moved to Miami. Now we're at proper real city with a mixture. What I think the real question is what happens now? Mm-hmm. So now you've got Miami got repriced. People all bought. People all moved here. Interest rates now just went up the last couple of days. Yep. Supply still going down. And now what happens? That's the real question. Is the
demand still there is what you're asking.
It's demand and what is now the supply. So what happened was everybody now took their pricing and went like this. So a home that was $20 million, give you an example, the guy's now asking 44. Okay? Now his neighbor goes, wait a minute.
A little bit.
Well, sorry, we're talking about Miami pricing. And then the neighbor goes, wait a minute, if his house is 44, what's my house worth? And what does the realtor wants listing say? Your house is worth $35 million, sir. Well, sign me up. So now you have everybody with high pricing. And what's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Are there buyers to buy those? Are they going to eventually all start lowering their pricing? Is the product good? Because a lot of these homes for sale now, the product's not great. Like I wouldn't buy most of them. It's not like there's amazing homes you can choose from. So I think we know what just happened. We got repriced, which is a good thing. And I think now Miami's become a real city, and Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale and Coconut Grove, all these markets from Coral Gables to Palm Beach just all got uplifted. The exciting part is that buyers got to choose where they want to live. There's a different energy in Coconut Grove, or better schools in Coral Gables, or better energy in Miami Beach, or maybe Palm Beach. So I like the fact that people can actually choose where they actually want to live versus being just, you're moving to Malibu, California, or you're moving to New York City. Like you can choose between 40 miles what checks your box. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens on this next turn of supply, demand, rates, and are people still flocking to Miami like they did during COVID in a frenzy? I don't know.
I think it's fair to say that frenzy is kind of came and gone, right? I mean,
I think so.
We're at the endemic stage of the pandemic. People aren't exactly. If you haven't moved yet,
are you still moving?
Are you still moving? What are you waiting for?
And you moving now when prices are still double?
I mean, prices are high, right? So
very, very high.
So is now the best time to buy? One of the things I'm, you know me, I rent, I move around, I'm all over the place. I move from building to building, and it's kind of worked for me. And one of the reasons that I say it's worked for me is because I'd rather focus my energy on my business, on my financial services business, or building my podcast and everything we're doing with Valuetainment, or focusing on things I can control. I don't want to be a real estate expert. And one of the things I also hear is from people is like, dude, just, buy a house, flip it, make money. It's real estate. Okay. And I'm just like, it doesn't work like that. You need to be an expert. You can't part-time your way to being a multi-millionaire real estate guy. And I'm going to use you as an example, because ever since I've known you, you've been buying and flipping houses. And you are a full-on real estate expert. So I kind of want people to hear it from a real estate expert. I remember when you were at the, the cricket club or jockey club? You were there. And then you had your sick condo at the top of the Mondrian.
Yeah.
And then you bought a house a few years later on Bay Road. And then from Bay Road, that was North Bay Road on like a 50th. And then you bought the house, the one that, the backyard that I got married in. And
a few more in between.
A few more in between. Yes. A couple of houses there. 27th and Bay in that area. And then you went on to the Venetian. And so you've been doing it and buying and flipping and moving and selling and shaking and grooving. And you've been learning and developing and doing all these things. It's not so simple. So it's been almost like a 20-year run to get to where you're at now.
This is after 10 years of living in hotels?
Well, he's been in...
Well, by the way, the funny part to your comment is my daughters are 3 years old. I'm not exaggerating. This isn't a joke.
Yeah.
They're now in their 4th bedroom. And they're 3.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Well, your whole thing is I don't get too attached to the house.
Yeah, I don't.
If I could sell it and flip it and make money. But what I want people to understand is just how much of an expert you need to be. Just how much you need to know to really make it in the real estate game. People just think, well, you buy a house and you make it appreciates and you sell it and you're a millionaire now. It doesn't work like that, does it?
Well, to your point, it's funny. So I'm building today 2 homes for very high profile friends of mine. Can't tell you their names. And I tell all my friends, to your point, focus your bandwidth on your day job. Make your money. Building a house is very, very hard. In fact, the advice I give is find a house you like, buy it, change the wallpaper, change the furniture. That's it. Doing what I do is a very, very hard game. And people that have actually tried it, because they go, oh, Keith can do it. And I always go, yeah, try it. They all call me after. They go, what I just do? Mm-hmm. Remember, when you buy a house, you have to buy it. You can't finance renovation. So that's all cash. So when you buy a house for, let's say, $1 million, and you want to spend $100,000 fixing it up, you can't finance that. Well, we know that $100,000 is going to be over budget, maybe 160, 170, 180. Now you're stressed, plus your time, plus things happen. They don't turn out right. A contractor leaves you. A guy doesn't show up. It is a very challenging game. That's why I always say, whether your budget is $100,000 or $50 million, buy something that's finished, that you like, you can tweak, and go on with your day job. Doing what I do is not easy.
Right.
But there's people that do it, but I will say for the most part, I make it look easy. So I have friends who are like, oh, well, if Keith can do it, I'll do it. I'm like, yeah, you should try it.
Go for it, buddy.
It. And then I get a call 2 days later. Hi, do you have a good carpenter? No. Good pool guy? No. So my thing is that, to your point, spend your bandwidth on what you do for a living. Mm-hmm. What I do with homes is what I do to make a living.
Right.
It is a business that I love and I do for passion, but it's a real business. But this is what I'm good at doing, what I focus on. To just do it to do it, very, very scary.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my whole thing, is that like I'm just gonna focus on what I control, what I'm great at, and do that and make money. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna rent and keep things simple.
Yeah. And look, the problem today is that, and it's the same thing whether it's, another business or homes. People today don't want to wait to make money and get rich and work. They want instant money. Mm-hmm. So how do you get instant money? I don't know. You buy a Bitcoin and you try to double it, or you buy a house, try to double it. Everyone's about to double.
Yeah.
But like the world wasn't made on that. So I think the problem is people, and there's guys in old Miami who will tie up a house and flip and make money. Like, oh my God, they did great. I'm like, what if it went down? What if it didn't sell? Like, you may get lucky, you may not. But I don't like risk. I'm adverse to risk and losing money. I don't do it.
Well, Uncle Russell taught you that.
Don't lose money.
You hit the nail on the head for my next question. I was going to say, I remember at one point you did have some Bitcoin, and it went up and it went down, and you had some crypto in your life, okay? And you said, I think I'm out, dude. I'm just going to focus on real estate. My bandwidth is only this. I'm not trying to get rich quick like you talked about. And I know that you've been pretty vocal, like, out of these NFTs, that's not for me. These weirdos trying to get rich quick. But speak to that, how you doubled down on real estate. Even if you didn't expect this hot market, you said, let me focus on what I'm good at. I only have so much bandwidth. I'm great at this. I'm going to double down on this, make my money here. And Bitcoin lets you guys do what you do. NFTs let you do what you do. You've had these thoughts. We've had these discussions. Would you mind unpacking that?
Yeah, no. I look, I'm a firm believer where I only invest in what I can control. So I'm not a passive investor. Like, I don't buy stocks. I don't invest in friends. I don't invest in these phone calls. Like, if I am not the quarterback doing something, I don't do it. It's just the way I am, right? Because I know that I'm the quarterback. Now, not to be said, like, I have friends of mine who, so I have 3 buckets, right? I do my home business that I actually love, which is tangible real estate. It's my pulse. It's my energy. I make it work. My second bucket is Bodega, which is Cinco de Mayo Day, which is our favorite brand, amazing business. We're actually, there we go. We're actually expanding Bodega a lot now. So we're spending a lot of time Bodega. We have South Beach, as you know. We have Fort Lauderdale. We have Palm Beach. We have a taqueria in Aventura. We're opening Coconut Grove in 2 months. We're opening a big one in Chicago. So we're going to have probably 15 bodegas by this time next year.
Wow. It's my favorite place to go dancing, by the way.
The best place to dance.
Always.
So I love Bodega. And my third box is I do business with good friends in companies that either they run or I know about or, like I'm into it. So there are deals I don't control, but I know the guys that are doing it and I'm with them on it. So the answer is, back to the crypto thing. Look, people are making a lot of money. It could be the future. And maybe we're already obsolete. Maybe I'm 41. I don't get, why a monkey's worth $1 million. I don't know. I don't understand the metaverse. I'm still in the universe. Like, I just don't get it. But with that said,
well said, bro.
People are making a tremendous fortune in that business. People are also losing tremendous fortune. It's goes down to, what works for someone. And for me, like, I'm not trying to get rich quick. I don't need to buy something, double it without doing anything in 2 months. I don't like my money's controlled by something else other than my hands. Like,
Right, it's very vulnerable to be in that
very
position.
vulnerable. Like, it's funny your point. We had Thanksgiving, Soscast in my house, and I have a nephew of mine, great guy.
Yeah.
I probably
That's exactly what I was thinking when we were talking about the Bitcoin
So
stuff.
I have a nephew of mine, and and I help him out financially whenever I can, and he's a great guy. So anyway, he's in college. So we're having this conversation. I said, like, how much money do you have? He says to me, I've got $15,000. I go, wow, a lot of money. Okay, I said, so like, what do you do with it? He goes, well, my friends and I, we have a chat. I'm in Bitcoin, I'm in Ether, and I go, so you're not buying like Microsoft and Yahoo and Amazon? He goes, no, takes too long. So I go, let me ask a question. Just throw it out there. You have 15,000. Of your 15, 9,000's in Ether. He said, yes. I go, what is an Ether? What is it? He goes, I don't know. I go, so you just took $9,000 of your 15 and some of you don't know because the chat tells you to buy it today. And he goes, yeah, it's pretty stupid. And I go, no, it's not stupid. Maybe it's smart. I don't know. But like, if it's me, I don't take 50% of my money, but it's something I don't know, I can't control. At least research and figure it out.
He's not getting a job in the family business.
Well, what's crazy is his numbers are not far off. Remember, he had about 15 grand. Keep in mind, he's about 20 years old.
Junior in college, yes.
Okay, so at 20 years old, I was lucky if I had $15. You need another beer, bro?
Good beer. It's Bodega Cerveza.
By the way, Adam, they want to know if you're going to take a shot or is that for decoration?
We're going to take a shot, 100%. See, I say, thank you for managing the chat, John. John, thank you for managing the chat. If people have questions, we can open up at the end, and we're going to definitely take a shot in a second. But we'll stay here, and then we'll go right into the shot. But I remember saying, oh, you have 15 grand. How much of that is in cash? Do you remember what he said?
$800?
He said $200.
$200.
I go, $200. So all your money is in the crypto. And this is when crypto was doing pretty well. It's since then, not done so hot.
But by the way, there are guys, and like I watch CNBC a lot, there are genius guys, successful guys that are into this. So like, it's here, right? Like it's not leaving, right? Like Bitcoin and Ether is on the ticker after the Dow and the NASDAQ, right? Like it's literally showing every so minute on CNBC. It's real. I don't like risk, as you know, and losing money. It's not for me. In fact, when I found that I had some because a partner of mine actually opened some account, bought some of my money. One day he goes, you have, I think it was like $496,000 in Bitcoin and Ether. I go, what? He goes, yeah, look at your name.
Don't you love when that happens, Amber?
I go, Keith Menet. I go, can I have that money? He goes, no, leave it for 10 years. I go, no. Can I please take it now? And I think I took all of it and left one coin that I gave away to someone. Anyway, the point I was like, no, I'll take $496 today versus maybe $696 in 2 years, but I don't want to go to $296.
Right.
So that's how my brain works. And by the way, if I left it, it's probably worth the $696 in 2 years. But I felt good just going, send the wire.
Focus on what you control. Anyway,
Yes.
we got about 15 minutes left, and I want to focus on Cinco de Mayo Bodega, okay? So Keith, I don't know if we can you scroll in here? Keith and our friends at Bodega, Samantha, shout out to you, were able to make a Soscast, what is this? A Don Julio 1942 tequila bottle. So thank you. So we're going to take a shot in honor of Cinco de Mayo. Should we take a shot? All right. Well, thank you for this. So I'm going to be the bartender for a second.
Do what you know.
All right. Move this thing around. KM, would you pass this to the lovely lady on your left? This is for Amber. By the way, we're just going to take the shot. We're not sipping. We're just taking it. You okay with that?
Why are you giving me instructions? I grew up in Miami. You don't think I can take shots?
That's true.
So Amber can handle a nice warm tequila shot.
Girls in Miami take a lot of shots to the face.
1942 warm tequila shot. I think that you can handle this one.
Okay.
Anyway,
The
shout out to
problem with this
Bodega.
bottle is it's so good, this 1942, that you want to take a second one. That's the risk.
Well,
That's
I know a
amazing.
guy or two that can get me that. So cheers to you. Happy Cinco de Mayo to
Cheers.
all our friends at home. Thank you for being here, Keith. Thank you for being here, Amber. Thank you for everyone watching at home. Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Ooh, that is smooth.
That is smooth.
Tell your face.
Well, Adam, your face was more of a frown than
That's what
Amber's.
I'm saying. I kept
I
it
said
smiling.
it. And shout out to the Bodega beer. Easy to sip and slow down. All right, so let's talk bodega. We got about 15 minutes left with Keith. Are we going to take questions at the end, John, or no?
Yes.
You'll let me know. Okay. So, everyone comes to Miami to party. Everyone comes to Miami to vacation. Everyone comes to Miami to have a good time. You own the #1 bar in Miami that people come to party. So how does that make you feel, right? Like just as a person, like people are coming to party at my spot. I'm not even talking the business side of things. We'll get into that. Like when you see the line out front. Remember on New Year's when we did the first party like 7 years ago, and you're like, oh, by the way, there's like a huge line. I said, like, what? What's going on here? Get them in. What does it feel like to own the spot that people are trying to go to?
It's fun. In fact, that night you're describing, I'll never forget. We opened up on New Year's Eve 7 years ago.
Yep.
And I said to my team, I said, guys, I'm going to throw a New Year's Eve party, invite all my friends, and we'll have a party. And like open bar, open food, just make it the best night everyone's ever had. And that's when we're going to open at midnight. And they said to me, what if people want to show up after? I'm like, I don't know. People show up, let them come in. Like, let's host them.
You had no idea what the bar was going to turn into.
No idea.
Right.
We built this bar, and I really just wanted a cool bar. It made sense that people need a place to go out before midnight at nightclubs opened up. Like before Bodega, if you went out at Miami Beach, wait till 1 o'clock.
Literally,
where do you go?
The clubs don't open until midnight.
I'm not built for it.
Exactly.
Me neither. So I built Bodega. I'm like, you know what? Bodega's be cool. Simple price bottles, simple price drinks for locals, for everyone. Just come whenever you want. Like 7 days a week, no promoters, great music, just have fun. That New Year's Eve, I remember around midnight, a friend said to me, he goes, because there's no windows in Bodega. It's a warehouse.
Right.
And my buddy said to me, hey, Keith, I think you're going to be successful. I said, hey, buddy, thanks, man. Like, it's a great bar. Everyone's having fun. Like, yeah, I was nervous. I'm like, yeah, like, I hope so.
I hope so, bro.
He goes, have you seen outside? I said, no. He goes, go outside. Go see your bar. I walk outside. I look to the right, and the line was down the street wrapped around.
Yeah.
And I go, wow. It's the same line that existed still exists. It was, from that day forward, it was just a massive line and massive demand. And for me, it's fun because everybody has fun there. Like it's when I set people up there, they literally have the best nights they ever have. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of pleasure to Bodega as just becoming that bar that is that go-to, everybody have fun type place.
Yeah, you like to party. You have a good time. Let's set up Amber with a nice little, account that she could.
I like to dance.
Yeah,
that's what
okay.
I don't
You're a
actually
dancer.
go and drink ever. I'm not much of a drinker. I love space to dance.
Yeah.
And music that I can dance to. And not a place where there's so many tables where you're constantly being told you can't stand there, you can't stand there, you can't stand there. Like a place where you can actually have fun and it's not about a show. I like specifically that the lights are very low and you can't really it's not about outfits.
No.
Like I go show up in my sneakers so I can really have fun.
You're just there to dance. That's it.
I'm just there to dance. But
anyway,
to the point, there's a very, very big service that you provide that we're not addressing is how many girls did not pass out because they ate a taco right before going home. You get them drunk and then you sober them up, and that is a service to the world.
That's the beauty of Bodega is that
That's
there's a taco. It's like the mullet of Miami. You have the tacos in the front, parties in the back.
Right.
That's
secret
the
door.
Mullet of Miami.
And it's killing it. So I want to focus on our entrepreneurs out there. We've got a lot of young hustlers out there, a lot of guys, girls opening up businesses. Might not necessarily be a bar. It could be any type of business. What are the things that people need to understand before taking on the endeavor of starting a new business? Like you're expanding Bodega, right? We have how many locations right now? 6 active locations, I want to say. And you said by the end of the year, this time, a year from now, your plan is to have at least a dozen, right?
If not more, 15.
If not more.
Yeah, we actually have 6 under construction.
Take us
now.
back 7 years ago. And before that, you've had different hotels and different bars. Wow. But Bodega has been the most successful. You could see them at the Miami Heat Arena. Shout out to the Miami Heat. I mean, they're at the Food and Wine Festival. Bodega's out there. But 7 years ago, there wasn't even one Bodega. Take us into what young entrepreneurs need to know and need to understand before they open up their first location, before they open up their first business. Drop some gems. I remember one time you said you got to have a performer and certain things like that. What do young entrepreneurs need to understand?
And in spirit of F1 weekend, we're also have one of the biggest stands in F1 this weekend. If you're there, go to Bodega. It's beyond.
Let's go.
That's my little promo thing.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime.
So I
Tips
think
for entrepreneurs.
Well, Uncle Russell's tips the first. Don't lose money. And I think if you're being an entrepreneur is not something that you just kind of want to be, you actually have to have a feeling of it, right? Meaning that you're not an employee. There is no paycheck. There is no 401k. You have to actually raise your own capital or use your own capital. You're actually in control of the success or the failure. So being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. Let's be honest. Like, I don't think the whole world should be an entrepreneur. It doesn't work, right?
It's a talent, like
it's
singing.
a talent. It's something that you have to have where you don't even think of yourself as an entrepreneur. You're just like, I like this. I like this. I think, that's the key. When I first did Bodega, was it entrepreneurial to do it? Maybe. It was also risky. Like, when you start a bar, if it doesn't work, the lights go off, you lose your money. Like, what are you selling? Your furniture? Your broken down liquor? Your lease for some key money? Like, it's a very tough business. And we did Bodega. Look, I was nervous. We spent about $1.5 million back then, which is a lot of money. Is a lot of money still today. And I was very nervous about that deal. And that's why I was there, as you remember, every single night, watching every single thing at first. Now, thankfully, I have a great team that can actually do that for me in a way. So I can keep it very high level. But it's a tough business. I think restaurant business by nature is very tough. But Bodega is a constant that just works. Like, it's one of those things that, it's like everyone here loves it. Like, it's incredible. So I think for that reason, we decided to kind of roll it out and have more fun and bring it to different environments, different markets. And that's kind of our plan now for the next year.
You once told me, you gave an example of like a little Italian restaurant. The first time we did an interview at my old set, and you said, let's say this guy makes $4 million in gross sales. He has to, by the time he pays out everything, pays all the bills, pays for supplies, does all the revenue, the numbers, the invoicing, he has to pray that he makes 10%. He has to pray that he makes $400,000 at the end of the year based on $4 million gross
and that's
sales.
It doesn't get a lawsuit from the chef fighting with the other guy.
Okay.
No one slips and falls.
Get into the numbers of what it takes to run a business, gross sales versus net revenue. Could you break that down?
So in the food and beverage business, you typically have your cost of goods sold, which is your food cost, which is about 30% of your revenue. So if you do for fun, $10 million a year. So let's take Bodega example. For Bodega, Fort Lauderdale does $10 million a year. My food cost is 30%, is $3 million. Your labor cost is another 30%. So you're at 60% just in food and labor. Then you have to pay rent, utilities, electric, bills. That's another 30%. So you're lucky to make 10%. The only way you do better in your margins like we do is that we actually will fight our food costs down to make it 24%, not 30. Or we'll fight our labor down and make it 28, not 30. But you see very quickly, if you don't fight down and you let things go up, that 10% profit is gone before you know it. And you can't get it back. It's a monthly thing. It's cash flow. So I think if you're going to be in that business, you have to really have good systems in place, understand it, and manage it right. Because, to your guy does $4 million, he may make $400,000 a year. If his food cost goes up, look at labor. Labor today is up 35, 40% just in this world we live in today. How do you fight that? So when a cook at that guy's place used to make $12 an hour, now it's 18, who's making the difference in 6? Is it the customer? Is he raising his prices? Is he eating it? That means he's making no money. So, as labor goes up and food costs goes up, prices go up, right? And that's this whole game of inflation. So I think the trick is you have to really manage it to a T. Because before you know it, your 10% profit is 8, is 6, is 2, and then you're in trouble.
So when you have a dozen locations, it's no longer on the CEO, founder, managing partner. This is where you have CFO. You've got accountants. Like, who's running the numbers at the end of the day?
So I think what we have today, we didn't have 10 years ago, is technology. So we use technology as a pretty big resource. So, for example, I get a report by email every morning I wake up, and it's every single store broken down to gross revenue, to cost, to percentages, to where orders came in, where orders came out, how much profit for the day. So really, it's once you grow to the level we're at now, it's not like one guy can sit in a desk and, give me the tickets, how we do. It's about technology. So we spend a lot of money and capital and time on technology, but someone has to also analyze that. So just getting a report by saying, Fort Lauderdale's food cost was 31%. Well, that's high and I don't notice it. Who's fixing it? So getting the data is one thing, processing it, and then delivering it is the big part, which we have a great team that CFOs and accountants and real F&B guys that'll analyze that and be like, why is our food costs up? Did limes go up in price? Did tortillas go up in price? Are they raising money on Fiji? Like, you have to think about these things, because if not, the numbers slip. And the more sales you do, the harder it is, because sales solves every single problem. That guy that does $4 million in an Italian place, if he does $6 million, remember, your fixed costs are the same. You're making a fortune. So when your sales are high is when you become lazy. When your sales are low, you have to count every single penny. The key is how to have that same discipline in either practice and then scale it.
Well said. We're wrapping up here. It's been a little over an hour. I want to do a little rapid fire with you, KM. Okay? So this is what I would call, Sal's rapid fire with Keith Menon right now. So just first thing that comes to mind, I'm going to tell you a little rapid fire. If Amber, if you want to weigh in, you know that you're always welcome. So I've noticed that the security guards at Bodega, pretty tough guys, but all the servers, hot chicks. Explain that.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
Tough guy security, pretty girl serving.
Now, if a guy said, I want to be a bartender, sorry, buddy. No,
we have guy bartenders.
Yeah? I don't notice that.
Well, because you're focused on the girls, but there are some great guy bartenders.
Facts. Okay. What advice would you tell, I was segue, what advice would you tell the females that are making money, the hot bartender, the hostess, the servers? These girls are walking away with cash every single night, whether it's at Bodega, whether it's at Live, whether it's at Story, any major club, whether you're at any club. What advice do you have for young women walking away with a nice amount of cash?
Just like your branding, save that money. Don't spend it. Don't go crazy. Don't go shopping. Don't blow it. Save that money.
Okay. How can men avoid the Miami nightlife scene? Notorious. I mean, LA, I guess, as well. There's a lot of gold diggers out there. Now, this is advice for our entrepreneur friends out there starting to make some money. What should they be weary of going out at night, spending money, being drunk, and girls are expecting, the gold digger shit,
I'm married. You're the good-looking single guy. Maybe you should answer that question.
Okay, all right. I don't know. Do you want to weigh in on this one?
Amber, what do you think?
I don't. What advice on why would I tell them secrets that I want?
Oh, secrets. Okay, we can play that game. This is a not even a nightlife question. This is a tzedakah question. You know what tzedakah is? What's tzedakah?
Like
You're just in Israel.
You're just saying if any good karma.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
This is
like
when
donation?
This is when you donate, when you're philanthropic. The knock on wealthy people is, they got all this money, they don't do nothing. The reality is the wealthiest people in the world donate the most amount of money. Like the Giving Pledge that put together by Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and these folks, Mark Zuckerberg and the billionaire class have pledged to give 95% of their wealth away. All right. I'm not saying that you should do that, but I do know that you are very gracious and you do give to the Jewish community. Explain why you do that.
I do give a good amount of charity to Jewish community as well as other communities, and just things that I think feel good. Like my kids' school, I love supporting. I love Jewish communities. I love, people that work hard. So for me, it's not about any one thing. It's literally whatever I see that I feel that someone is in need of that works hard. I love the support. It's a great thing. And I think people have to do it.
Why do you think Jews, as a Jewish businessman, your uncle's name is on the local JCC, Jewish Community Center, Jews get this the stigma of being, wealthy Jews. Of course he's got money. Why do you think Jews are, in fact, good with money and are rich?
I think, I don't know if they're all rich, but I think Jewish people by culture, by nature, were raised in a certain way, which is to work hard, have a good family, make money. I think it's a drive that a lot of them have. By the way, not all of them are like that.
Obviously
I
not
have
all.
a lot of Jewish friends who are actually opposite. But for the most part, I think, it's something that, we just kind of do, which by the way, a lot of other cultures do the exact same thing. I think whether you're Jewish or you're Italian or you're Greek or you're Brazilian, if you have it in you to make money as a person, that kind of dictates what happens. I don't think it's really that much religion, but yeah, Jewish people have that stereotype for sure.
That's true. You kind of alluded to it. You're very giving, very generous. We have had, I can't tell you how many times I've just had the time of my life, and it's just been like, hey, thanks, Keith. And I'll always tip the bartender. That's my thing. Or the staff. Like anytime I go to Bodega, they take care of me. Good. Shout out to Gil. Shout out to the team. It's love. It's all good. I always take care of the girls. Always. But when you're the club owner and you've got the bottles and you've got the table, you're always gonna have mooches. How do you deal with people that mooch off of you? How do you handle that?
It's a tough question. The good news is nowadays, being an older Keith and an older bar owner, is now, I have less mooches around me, where if you're around me, you're a friend, right? Like in the old days, it was tough. It was just everybody chases a free drink, and my table would have 10 bottles on it. And it's not easy, right? Like it's a hard balance, but the good news is nowadays, if I go out, it's with a crew I want to be with, and I don't really have that around me anymore.
Good for you.
What?
No, I don't know if you wanted to add to that.
I don't have mooches.
Okay. You've been all over the world. You've got a private plane. You've been all over. Most memorable, best trip you've ever been on?
I think last summer was one of the most incredible trips I've ever had, where a very good friend of mine and a business partner chartered a very, very big boat and invited 4 couples. And we had the most unbelievable time in the Amalfi in Italy I've ever had. It was outrageous. It was probably a 30 crew for 8 people, 30 staff for 8 people. Talk about a service thing. Imagine that. On over a 200-foot boat, and it was outrageous. That was probably the most exciting trip in a way. And to your point about the Instagram, like I didn't post the private jet there or the boat there. It was just an amazing, amazing time.
Awesome.
And the friends you're with were awesome. It was fantastic.
Most overhyped city. Like you've been all over the world and you went to this city and you were expecting it to be amazing. And you're like, yeah, actually such and such a city is actually a dump. Most overhyped city out there. What you got?
I kind of like everywhere.
There's nothing that comes to mind that's overrated? How about this? A place you would never go again.
Amsterdam.
You would never go. You're done. That came out pretty quickly. All right.
Because I was thinking about the place. I remember I went there when I was young, and I remember I'm like, it's dark, it's gray, it's gloomy. I kind of like smoking weed, but I'm not really into that. And like the coffee shops and the hotels suck. Like, I would say I'm probably not going back to Amsterdam again.
You got to go in the summer. It's so pretty in the summer and spring.
I love being by the water, hence the tan.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to Europe in the summer, I'm by the water.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be gridlocked in 8 buildings with some.
You'll be in Mykonos. You'll be in.
Yeah,
Ibiza.
I'm going summer the water.
Got it.
I have a question, Adam, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I went to a restaurant in Israel that their model is you pay what you think at the end.
I like that.
And I was going to ask you, how do you think that factors in the controlling of sales revenue and food prices? Mind you, they have a limited menu, but you choose vegan or not vegan. And with drinks also, you do whatever you want. You order as much as you want, and then at the end, you pay what you think.
I think that is beyond cool. I don't think I would ever do that. But the answer is they are either being very, very successful as people are overpaying because they know there's no pressure.
Right.
If they weren't, they'd be out of business. So the good news, I think it's one of the coolest things I've heard. It must be a very small boutique place.
Pretty small, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very, very cool. Again, I couldn't do that, but
it plays
I respect
off of the guilt.
Yeah.
But listen, you're also in Israel, so you have a lot of Israelis being like, It's... But the Americans, when we go, we're like, I think we should each pay like at least $50, $60.
I think it's one of the coolest things that I've heard. I think it's awesome.
It's called Jos Velos.
I like that.
Shout out to them. All right, last couple questions. Then, John, you said we did have a caller or two, and then we'll do this.
Yes.
The most you've ever spent on a night out? People come to Bodega, people that come to your bars, they go to your restaurants, they drop some loot. What's the most you've ever spent on a night out?
I mean, the truth is, it's going to sound crazy, I really only go to my spots or my friends' spots. Like,
right, your whole life.
If I'm in New York, I go to Johnny's spot at Scarpetta. So the answer is like, I'm not... Again, I would, but like I'm not like these guys you described who go out and have like $5, $10, $15, $20,000 bills. I don't do any of that ever. Mm-hmm. Like if I go to Bodega, I may tip a couple $1,000s to the staff. To your point, but I'm not going out and ordering 10 bottles of that somewhere, unless there's a one-off time when you're in St. Bart's, you're at Nikki Beach, you're in Europe. Like at those places, there's pretty big bills, $10,000. But for the most part, that's like if I'm on a trip of a lifetime and I'm picking up a lunch or a dinner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm not like a weekend warrior spending like these crazy numbers. But thank those guys because they are spending in our city. It's great.
And thank you. All right, John, let's open this up a question. Before we do that, you mentioned a few cities. We're going to do one more shot. Pass this over to Amber.
Wow.
If you would. Because some of those cities that you mentioned, St. Bart's, Mykonos. I've been able to see those places and travel the world because of you.
You're right.
So thank you for taking me and my ex at the time on these trips. And it was
a few exes, yeah.
A few exes, yeah. But thank you. It's always good to have a generous, successful friend in your life. And I appreciate you, Keith. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
John, let's open.
Hey, Adam, first of all, the audience wants to know what kind of shoes you have on. I don't know why, but they've been asking
cool
over and
shoes.
over.
Yeah, these are some, I think I got these at Zara, ironically, but thank you, guys.
Anyway, we have Kevin on the phone.
We got Kevin on the phone. Kevin, what's up? It's Cinco de Mayo. How you doing? Can we turn him up? I can barely hear him.
Hello. I think he's,
Kevin?
Hello, yeah. Nope, he's not on.
I heard him.
Can you guys hear him?
But I heard him, but it was very faintly. I heard him say, "Hey, how's it going?"
All right, I guess we should move on. We can't hear him.
Okay, who else we got?
That's it.
Kevin.
All right, Kevin. So did Kevin have a question? Is he there?
Type it.
Yeah, he wanted
to. You guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, hey guys. Yeah, I got a quick question for you guys.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if you guys had any advice for a young entrepreneur that wants to get into either like the club business or the real estate business. You know, is it a bad time you think right now? Do you think it's too oversaturated with, you know, like-minded entrepreneurs, or do you think now is a pretty decent time to jump into?
Do you mean the club business or the real estate business? Because they're two separate businesses, right? Or you just kind of want more universal advice?
Yeah, universal advice.
All right, let's let the hotelier answer this question.
Kevin, buddy, I think it's a great time for either one. I would say choose one and run with it. I think I was very good at doing both in a way, which wasn't easy. I have a great support team and great family that runs a business of mine and help. But I think it's a perfect time now. You know, there's tons of money in the market. Real estate's high. People are spending. F&B's high. I think choose whichever one you like and give it a shot. But I think trying to do both could be a little challenging.
Mm-hmm. And to build on that, if you have a club, and Keith can attest to this, your table, you know, you can have some friends and drink for free, but you can't do that for everybody.
No.
There's got to be a limit to who you're letting kind of party for free and drink for free. That's sort of the problem in the nightlife world, is that you want to be hospitable, you want to have a good time. How do you, this is maybe our last question, how do you balance, all right, you're my buddy, but I need you to pay some money here, guy. Like, how do you balance that?
But you remember when we first opened Bodega, that was always the biggest issue, because there's a table to the right, which is called my table. It's the best table. It's next to the DJ. It's awesome. And that was always my table. I didn't want to sell it. It was either if I'm there, I'm using it, or I'm giving it to a friend. So I've always liked creating that one table. That's my table. And even today, 7 years later, we still do that. So the answer
that's
is,
kind of like my table these days when I go.
Now it's your table. I'm at home with the kids and doing that.
I'll run with it.
But the answer is it's not easy, right? But I also believe in, like, everyone have fun. Like, I'm not a guy who ever stressed about I'm going through 3 bottles of vodka, not 2 bottles, or extra bottle of tequila. Like, if people are having fun, the vibe's great, awesome. The challenge is when guys come I like, or girl, with people I don't like, or weird people, then it's like, okay, like, why'd you bring the weird guy? Right? Like, it's this big. So
you killed the
that's
vibe.
the challenge. The challenge isn't how to manage the amount of liquor or the money of liquor or the real estate. It's like, if you're bringing someone, like, they got to be cool, or it just throws it off.
Respect. Amber, any final thoughts before we wrap up? Any questions you have for Keith, or what you got?
Opening a comedy club again one day?
Yeah, well, we used to have Ricky's next to Bodega. She's very salty about that. She didn't get to perform there. But anyway, final thoughts. Let me give it to you before I wrap up. Any final thoughts? What people should know about you? Where should they find you? Where should they find Bodega? Any final thoughts you want to give to the people?
For sure. So Bodega you'll find everywhere soon, from Fort Lauderdale to Palm Beach to Coconut Grove. Opening in about 2 or 3 months from now. We'll be in Chicago in about 6 months. Wynwood in about a year. We're opening them all over the place. There's some I can't describe yet, but you'll see Bodega everywhere. So if you're a fan of the brand, fan of the food, please keep coming to us and having a blast. I love building homes, as you can see, and I love just everything about having fun and making money.
I love that. I think what people should understand at home about Keith, and I'm not. This isn't even the liquor talking, because I've only had 2 shots of the beer. I'm a little tipsy. I'm not gonna lie. I think what people should understand is you've been doing this for 20 something years. You didn't just, magically wake up one day and, hey, I got a plane and a $20 million house. It took goddamn hard work. Okay. And it started with sweeping floors when you were 16, working the front desk for your uncle when you were 18, summers, going to college, Cornell Hospitality School for this. It's a work in progress. You hit the nail on the head that people want to get rich quick these days. Nobody wants to get rich slow. Nobody wants to get rich in 20 years. It took you 20 years to really be what I would call wealthy, right? You were well off, successful. Let's call it that. But it took 20 years. Okay. I've been doing what I've been doing for 15 years in the financial services world. I've been doing the podcasting for 5 years, and I'm just now really starting to feel successful. So Amber's been doing stand-up comedy for 2 years now. What did Mark Norman say? That's going to take you a decade.
10.
So ultimately, when you talked about being an entrepreneur, it's not all rainbows and sunshine and cupcakes. That's going to be tough out there, but you have to stick through it. You got to, work your ass off, pay the price, have that work ethic, because it is worth it in the end if you enjoy what you do. And then, it's not going to happen overnight. I think that's really
And the truth is, success is different for everybody, right? Not everybody has the same aspiration. So, like some people want to be a billionaire, as you said. Mm-hmm. Some people don't. Some people want to have a great family. Some people want to be single. So it's not about the money you make. It's about the vibe you create for yourself.
That's it.
How happy you are and what works, right? And that's why I say to my friends all the time, I say the game isn't who can make the most money. It's really not, although people think it is. The game is who's living the best, who's enjoying every day, who is content with what they have. Like that's what I strive for, because whether I had the money I have today or 10 times the money I have today, I'm probably not doing much different. Honestly, like, what else am I gonna do? Maybe a little bigger thing here, so it's about that. And I think that's the key. It's not about who's the richest, but who lives the best and who's happy. And success is different for everybody. So you don't have to compete and think about, like Amber mentioned, she loves going to bodega dancing with her sneakers on and shoes, not drinking. That's awesome. That makes her happy. You, by the way, I don't see you dance. I don't see you in sneakers, and I see you drinking a lot. So opposites. But you guys are both happy.
Thanks, Kay. I appreciate that. Love that. Well, anyway, thank you for being here, bro. This has been awesome. You brought tacos for everyone. I'm sure everyone here at Valuetainment loves and appreciates bodega. Let me give some final amazing words of advice by none other than Evelyn Menon, your lovely wife. She once told me, she sent me a video one time, and she goes, "See, Saz, I know you talk about saving that money, but let me give you some advice. Sometimes you got to spend the money in order to make the money, in order to save the money."
She's right.
So she's right. So sometimes you got to spake it, you got to spend it in order to make it, in order to save that money. KM, Keith Menon, thank you for being here. Check the link below because all this stuff is out there. And if you are in South Florida and you want to have a good time and you want to dance and you want to eat tacos, you want to have the time of your life, go check out one of the local bodegas, and we'll see you next time on the Soscast. Thanks, Keith.